Hello guys, welcome to the Get Recurve Bow YouTube channel. Today we're going to be going over something important that every archer should know. We're going to be going over recurve bow safety. At the end of the day, a recurve bow is a weapon. You know, it's used for hunting, even large game like buffalo or moose or things like that. So these things can do damage. There are bow fatalities that happen every year. People get injured and things like that from improper bow safety. So we're going to be going over some important things you need to know as a recurve bow owner. Especially if you're new to owning a recurve bow, there are things that you might not think is an issue and you're doing it. It doesn't seem like a big deal, but could actually cause harm. Rule number one is never dry fire your bow. So what does dry firing your bow mean? Dry firing your bow means without having an arrow actually knocked on the string, you pull the string back and then you release it without having a string on it, without having an arrow on it. So you're pretty much releasing it without the force going out anywhere. The force from your string gets distributed to the limbs. It actually has a really loud clapping noise that the bow makes, and you can feel the tension on your arm from holding the bow. It just puts a lot of strain on your bow and it increases the chance that your string could snap. Keep in mind, you have a lot of force, a lot of energy right next to your face. So having a string snap could potentially, you could lose an eye, God forbid. Like, there's a lot of things that could happen if the string snaps while you're holding it right there. It's really close to your face. So you want to make sure you never dry fire a bow, because the string snaps, it happens, and it's not something we want to happen. Rule number two, never point the bow at somebody. If just at any point, never point a bow at somebody when you have the string back. I know this sounds really obvious and really simple, but a lot of times, you'll be aiming, you'll be looking around, you'll catch someone on your sight. Just never pull the string back unless you're staring directly at what you're gonna shoot. So you stare at what you're gonna shoot, you pull the string back, then you fire. Okay? And another thing, make sure that there's nobody in view. Sometimes I'm really focused on landing the shot, and then somebody could run out, somebody's trying to talk to me, and they step out in front of us. So this might sound really obvious and sounds like, oh, I'm not gonna point my bow at anybody, but more people do it than you think. So just be sure to be aware of everyone around you. This also applies for if you're shooting near a door. It's just as easy, somebody could come out of that door and they weren't there a couple seconds ago, but now they're directly in front of your target. So that's a big thing. Never point your bow at anyone. Make sure before you pull that string back, you're staring at what you're gonna shoot and you're aware of everyone else there. Rule number three, keep your string waxed. Now, waxing your string does a lot of things, and it's most commonly known for protecting the string, making it waterproof. The quality of your string will directly relate to the quality of your shot, so you obviously want to take care of your string. It's also a safety thing. It prevents the string from fraying. The more frayed your string is, the more likely it is to snap at that point. So make sure to keep your string waxed at all times. There's a bunch of string wax out there. They're really cheap too. It's like $4 or $5, and you only need to apply string wax once every around 100 shots. So unless you're a super avid shooter, it's just one purchase every couple months. You won't even notice it. I actually have a list of the best string wax available today, and they're all under like $12 or $15. It's nothing that's gonna break the bank. Rule number four, which is kind of debated in the archery industry, is whether or not you need to wear an arm guard. Now, if you have a lot of practice and you know how to land shots without it hitting your forearm, it's a learned skill. Having that muscle memory to pull the string back a certain way, have your arm at a certain angle, release it in a certain way, that's muscle memory. That's something you're gonna have to learn. Now, if you're new to archery or you don't have that much practice under your belt, it's pretty common to hit your forearm. And it's no big deal if it happened once, it's gonna sting. But when you notice it start happening 2, 3, 4, 5 times in a session, if you actually want to take the time to become a good archer, you're gonna need to start protecting your forearms. Eventually it's gonna start wearing at it, and then it's gonna be tender for a couple days, and it's not something you want to go through. So if you plan on shooting often, invest in an arm guard. Again, they're not expensive. A lot of arm guards are for $20 out there, $25 out there, nice, good looking leather ones. So definitely invest in an arm guard. The next thing is, this one is pretty uncommon. Rule number five is to take off jewelry, bracelets, necklaces when you're gonna go into a long training session. For example, I always make sure to tuck my necklace in here, always, when I'm doing it. Make sure to remove any bracelets, earrings. I've heard some gory stories of people, pulling that string back, and then either their finger gets lashed in their especially with the hoop ones. Their finger will get in there on accident, and then on the release they jolt forward, or the string gets attached to it. Just before you're gonna start taking your practice, just take a couple minutes to tuck away anything you have, any necklaces, put them in or take them off, bracelets, hoop earrings, definitely take those off, get them out of there, because that's a pretty gory situation you could put yourself in by just not taking a couple seconds to remove the things you have on. Number 6, before you start any long training session, take a couple seconds to inspect your bow. You want to make sure there's no cracks, especially the string too. You want to make sure the string hasn't started fraying too much. You want to make sure, just take a second and look at the integrity of your riser and the limbs too, especially the limbs. You take a close look at it, check for any cracks or anything. You're gonna want to check the top, the sides, the insides. It takes 5 seconds. I'm making it look like a long time, but it's literally just do this, check the string, there we go. Bow's good, you're ready to go. Because a lot of times these cracks start forming on the limbs especially, and if that happens, you kind of put yourself at risk by firing a bow that's not properly maintained. So it's simple. Just take a good look at every side of your bow, and you'll be fine. Rule number 7: never string your bow without a proper bow stringer. Many people think they can string a bow without a bow stringer, and some people can. I've seen some people do it well, but for the most part, you're either doing damage to your limbs or putting yourself at risk. Some people, there's this under the leg method that I've seen work before, and people try to do fancy stuff, but I think at the end of the day, just get a bow stringer. $10, $15 online. You should definitely just invest in one of those. Then you can string and unstring the bow as often as you want, because if you have the bow strung and you need to unstring it, you also have to do that without a bow stringer, which that's even riskier, trying to take the string off without a bow stringer. Just in general, it's worth it. I don't think the headache of trying to learn to do it without it is worth it, and also it's a safety hazard trying to take the string off. Very tightly wound string with just your hands. Invest in a bow stringer. So that's the 7 rules, or the 7 safety rules for using a recurve bow properly. If you like the video, go ahead and like it. If you're interested in seeing future videos, I'm gonna take this Samick Sage hunting coming up this whitetail season. Also, check out my other video. I actually go over the Samick Sage recurve bow in great detail. If you're interested in that video, you can click on it right there. I'm not sure, but I go over the details of this bow. All right. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.